So guys, to popular demand, people have been asking me to make a small video of my aquaponic system, and I just wanted to give you a bit of background about it first. I've been looking into this for building this system now for about 2.5 years, and one day my daughter came up to me a couple of weeks ago and said, I want to do a project. So this was the project I did. A couple of things I'd like to name about it is it's working, it's doing really well. I have lots of veg growing, and after all the research I did, watching YouTube videos, how to put these things together, checking them, making them, doing all of these things, then yeah, it is actually working, so I'm really happy with that. But it's been quite a big investment. For those of you who are thinking of doing it, then go ahead. It's an amazing way to grow vegetables, or grow salads, should I say. But it hasn't been cheap, and I'll go through that as we go into it. The whole aim of doing this is, I wanted to start growing my own veg. I wanted to start growing my own things, and I love doing smoothies. So, the whole idea of this wall is to be able to come into my own garden, pick the salads and green leafy greens for making my smoothies every morning. So that's what I'm doing. So I'm hoping now that the system is going to be left in good hands over the summer, and it's going to start producing lots of good crop. So this is the system. So for those of you who don't really know what aquaponics is, basically we have a fish tank in here. The fish are fed, they poo and pee into the water, and then it goes through the system and the plants eat the poo and pee. I've got sort of 4 aspects to the system of growing different types of media. We have the flood and drain bed. This is the flood and drain bed. This has hydro media in it. The water fills in here, and then I have a bell siphon. The bell siphon is here. I take it off and you can see inside the water level rises, and when it gets to a certain point the water level then drains automatically. Now it's just started the bell siphon, so this is now draining. The bed is full and the siphon is working. It took me a while to get the measurements and the flow rate correct, and I actually had to buy a second pump to run it on a different system, but that's okay because it doesn't need to run that often as the rest of it. So we're putting worms into the system. You see, nice worms. So these should eat any dead roots. They should really help the system. This whole system's working on gravity, so as you can see I've got the water pumping in, and then that will head down through the system, coming out of this pipe here and coming down through to the system into a series of filters. So these filters, first I have the swirl filter. This one is to actually remove. Can you see here, when the water's running it starts to go brown, and that's taking out the sediment that is too thin to be kept into the system. Then that comes into the biofilter. The biofilter's here. This is filled with bioballs. It's got an air hose in it, and that system itself, that breeds healthy bacteria, which controls the pH level inside the system. Then from that system we go down into the lowest point, so that actually goes through my wall, and that comes down to here. This is a sump. Now this is the lowest point of the whole system, and in the bottom I have 2 fish tank pumps in there. Now those then pump back up the wall, going to the very top of the system, and that's going into these 2 growth media beds. So the 3 horizontal beds that are on the wall that have spinach and various types of salads, some basil, These are constant floods, so water is constantly in them. So if I actually pull out one of the things, you can see the root system in there, and you can see the water, how it's full of water. You see the water level? So those roots are always inside the water. And those there run down this and come out. Now this is a new thing that I'm doing. Of course I have to grow the vegetables at the moment. I just bought these as seedlings and planted them about a month ago now, and you can see they're pretty much fully grown. We've already started harvesting. But now I'm starting a new system. It's a trial for growing my own. You can see I've got some rucola in there that's growing super well, and then I've got a little spinach plant growing, and we'll see if any of the other seeds will take. Again, this is a trial. This is new. I only fitted this a couple of days ago, but we'll see how it goes. Then the final type of system is you've got these vertical hanging beds here. So the vertical hanging beds, they are dropping water through. Not all the plants are surviving. You know, these strawberries I transplanted from soil, but the spinach has worked with the transplant and it's working really well. Now, if you know anything about them, different types of plants work with different types of amount of oxygen or amount of water on the actual root system. So depending on the type of root system and depending on what they like will actually be relevant for the actual system itself. Now let's look at things that were, you know, this whole system I suppose cost me about 500 euros, and I had quite a lot of the stuff already, but things that were unexpected costs. This growth media, you know, is 18 euros for a 50-litre bag, and I needed 150 litres to fill this growth bed. You can do shallower beds, but the problem with shallower beds is eventually I'd like to start growing root vegetables in here once the system is slightly more mature, but that was an unexpected cost. Then you have, you know, all the plastic and plumbing fittings. They weren't cheap, the pumps, and the media balls, you know, the media balls that are in here. Yeah, these ones that were in here, these were 10 cents each. Yeah, and I thought, oh, I'll just get 100 of them. No, you need to get about, I've got about 500 or 600 in there. And then, you know, I did silly little things, like I saved a little bit of money on the pumps, and that wasn't sensible. You know, I should have got bigger pumps that runs a bigger system, and especially the air pump. The air pump needs to be bigger, because of course the more oxygen we put into the water, the better the plants actually do. But as a whole, I'm really happy with the test. I'm really happy with the system, and yeah, it's going super well. So I have lots of salads that we're eating every day, which is really good, you know, pesticide free, homegrown veg. So this is my aquaponic system. So have a beautiful day, and yeah, get in touch if you want to know any more information.